The solar eclipse happened and the world didn't end. And today on Nerdy Attorney, we're talking space law. Happy Eclipse Day! Unless you've been living underneath a rock, there was a full solar eclipse today. Though I guess we all live under a rock that's the moon. Anyway, it got me thinking about space. In the past, space exploration is something that countries with way too much money got to participate in. But now we're starting to see a big change. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are all trying their hand out at space exploration. Now, private space companies aren't just launching rockets and satellites, they're fundamentally changing and reshaping the economics and the governance of space exploration. Entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson are pouring billions into developing reusable space vehicles, developing space tourism, and even planning for lunar bases and asteroid mining, and one day, Mars. This shift from a government led to a commercially driven space industry means that we need to rethink our legal frameworks that have governed space thus far. In 1967, we entered into the Outer Space Treaty. 1967. This is the original Outer Space Treaty. At the time, everyone was listening to the monkeys sing I'm a Believer. And the only two kids playing in the sandbox, that is space, was the USSR and the US. That's it. The concern then was sovereignty. The concern was that the United States would get to the moon and say, this is ours. Hands off. Or the USSR would get there first and say, this is ours. It didn't address those legal issues about property. What about individuals? What about a company? Can I stake a claim to the moon or to an asteroid? What happens if someone else stakes the same claim? Can I challenge it? Some entrepreneurial ventures have already started to work on this. There's a company called Lunar Registry that's already begun selling lunar real estate, even though the practice is of dubious legal standing. There's also a lot of concern about conflicts. What if two companies start mining for resources on the same rock or the same place of the moon? What do we do then? Can we call dibs on a space rock? The other area of legal complexity that we're seeing is the management of orbital space. Right now, there is a proliferation of satellites. Private companies are launching thousands and thousands of them, and they're getting smaller too. The risk of collision caused by these new satellites is skyrocketing. There's a risk that a collision could actually create a cascading effect called the Kessler syndrome, which could shut us out of space for a long time. That's the one satellite gets hit and explodes, causing more debris everywhere, and those cause more explosions, so on and so forth. But there's also other issues. What happens if someone goes bankrupt? Who manages that satellite? Who takes control of it? Actually, that's a great idea for a TV show. Space Repo Men. Follow this quirky young group of people as they repossess vehicles from aliens behind on the payments. I'd watch it for a season or two. Anyway, current international laws and norms around registration, tracking, and responsible disposal are really struggling to keep up. And the liability for damages caused by collisions is also a thorny issue. All these are things that need to be resolved. You could say that this is, I don't know what you could say. Currently, the legal regime for space activities was forged during At the same time, we were waiting for new episodes of Star Trek. It is not sufficient to handle the realities of modern commercial space industry. Policymakers, legal scholars, and industry leaders will need to come together to develop new treaties, regulations, and governance models to ensure a sustainable and peaceful use of outer space. We must also, and this is a huge risk, we also must be aware that this could end up becoming the Wild West. If we don't do anything, then just chaos may reign. And I know the Wild West sounds like really cool. Also, another good idea for a movie. But in reality, it would not be a good outcome. The legal challenges around property rights and satellite proliferation and other emerging issues, it all is going to require innovative thinking and global cooperation. And it would all depend on our ability to create clear and a fair legal framework in this new era. We can't just have Elon Musk go to Mars and declare himself king of Mars. We need to create some sort of boundaries. Otherwise, he'll rebrand it. Anyway, if you're interested in more about space law, check out the starlawblog.com. And also, you might want to check out the Global Space Law Symposium, which is coming up next week. Also, this is my first video, and it sucks. I know it does, but the only way to get better is to try. I know I'm going to have some stinkers, so if you have some nerdy legal questions, please let me know, and I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks.